If you like a neutral sound and some steampunk aesthetics, oh my god, with a dynamic... If you like a neutral sound and some steampunk aesthetics, well, for about 200 bucks, you can get yourself one of these things, a tribrid IEM called the EPZ P50, with a dynamic balanced armature and including micro planar combo, it's got quite a good sound as well. The EPZ P50 here, it has a bright leaning sort of neutral type of tuning that is versatile for all genres, and it has a peanut gain that tops out at 3 kHz. Actually, it aligns quite closely to Crinical's IEF neutral tuning. No wonder why the upcoming Daybreak from Crinear is actually quite similar looking to the P50 here. Same driver setup with some tuning modifications. It might even be the same model, but anyways, today we'll be talking about the P50. So let's start with the bass. The P50's bass, it's a little conservative, I'd say. It doesn't strive to be a bass cannon kind of IEM, and it sits behind the mid-range and the treble, but it's always there when you need it to. The bass texture is slightly softened. It has decent slam factor, but definitely holding back somewhat, right? If I have to compare the quantity, it would be about the same as the Tangzu Yexuanji that I reviewed. But on the P50, there are some differences. The mid-range and the treble, they have more presence, which kind of de-emphasizes the bass range a bit more. If I listen to something like Apache's Kryptonite, this song, it usually has more bass rumble, but on the P50, the breathy and screamy vocalist gets more of the spotlight. So how about the mid-range? The lower mid-range is basically dead neutral. It's fairly clean, but mostly plays set dressing for the upper mid-range. That one peaks at 3 kHz. This kind of peak, it's a double-edged blade. If you love the kind of IEF tuning style, then I think you'll appreciate it here. It's the make or break of the P50, I think. A 3 kHz peak is a little risky, actually. For some songs, it can present a clean and refined tonality, but for some mixes, the 3 kHz energy, it just emphasizes this random dead air portion of the mix. And it's not really targeting vocals or any particular musical detail. And an example for this is with Odessa's music. We have the same artist, right? But on Easy Money, the huskiness, the overtones of the male singer is really nicely done, nicely portrayed. But with Say My Name, again, from the same artist, Odessa, the 3 kHz peak, it just goes nowhere in the mix. It just makes the song feel a little hazy because it's boosting random dead air, like I said. With the singer just sitting to the side and the backing track also not getting quite the presence that it needs, I think the P50 has a bias for male vocals and tracks that have a flat kind of mastering, where there's not a lot of variance between the loud and the quiet and loud sounds. So I tried some 2010s era pop music, for example like Pharrell Williams' Happy, or Maroon 5's Move Like Jagger, or Payphone and Maps. They all sound really good when played through with the P50, portraying the male vocals quite accurately, getting that huskiness of the voice down. Man, I kind of miss this era of music. There was a lot more influence from like rock bass or like acoustic bass genres inside the pop songs of this time, rather than the more EDM focused compositions of today. Not that music today is bad or anything. Like, it's just we've come quite far from that time. Treble on the P50, it's a boosted affair. EPZ, they really wanted to get all that they can out of the microplanar drivers that they put in. So you do get an airy and quite bright treble implementation. It really crisps up the older tracks which do quite need that boost. For example, Pina Colada. If you like pina coladas, getting caught in the rain. Okay, I'm not that good at singing, but I love that song. Like old 2000s era like EDM, which have like this slightly compressed mix. For example, A la On Danse. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It also benefits from the treble execution. I don't quite understand what we're saying in that song, but it do go hard though. J-pop and J-EDM are genres that don't quite work well with the P50. These planar-based treble energy, it's just a little too much. Where you see the problems most is in this song called Silhouette. The female vocals, they start to exhibit this kind of crunchiness and brittle artifacting. If you like air, then the P50 will have more than enough to suffice. I think with the P50 there's a lot of treble quantity, but in terms of providing treble detail and clarity, it's still got a ways to go. With the P50, you're getting a semi-open back design with those, like, as you can see from the exposed grills on the faceplate. But the soundstage width, it doesn't really benefit exactly from this element. It doesn't change much if I like cover up the grills like this, no. But you do still get a more expansive stage width feeling thanks to that tuning and the extra air from the treble range. The imaging is a little less impressive, I'd say. I'd say it's a little unfocused, kind of messy. I have some trouble identifying the sort of spatial positioning of musical elements on the P50. Now for technical ability, the P50, it excels in some regards, but kind of underperforms in others. So it doesn't have the cleanest separation. Sometimes it's troubled by the more complex mixes, but throw in a more sort of simple kind of song and it will be able to extract macro detail and really making it sound clear. And thanks to the treble boost, it's all quite high-res feeling, if you know what I mean. Micro detailing, that depends on the song actually. It's usually okay, with brief moments of greatness actually really capturing the extra backing sound effects in Run the Jewels, Legend Has It, quite nicely, quite clearly. So like I said before in the intro, the Daybreak from Crinear actually has a similar tuning to the P50, and it seems to actually even be the same model as the P50 actually. I think I can get a good idea of what the Daybreak sound like by using Auto EQ to get there from the Squiggling database. Now the P50 EQ'd into the Daybreak has a more balanced feel compared to its original sparklier and brighter form. The bass here is thickened up and some warmth is reintroduced to the lower mid-range. A critical tuned IEM with some warmth. That is insane character arc development actually. Whoa. The treble has been toned down on this tuning as well, losing some of that sparkliness in exchange for being more consistent across all of the songs. I think the ideal EQ for the P50 here is going for the thickened up bass and lower mids of the Daybreak, but actually keeping the crispy treble energy from the original P50's tuning. Alright, so that's about it for the sound of it, but how does it look and feel? The P50 has a plastic build, but it feels decently put together, with an interesting but possibly divisive design. You've got a silver front plate with the circular cutout holes revealing a golden grille inside. I like that this gives depth and the layers to the design, but the look itself is a little steampunk, not quite to my taste. Now, if you want a different design, actually, EPZ can make a customized look for you. You can choose anything from like the shell colors to the faceplate design. You can even actually print your own pictures onto it. But this option is mostly limited to buying through EPZ directly, not through like a distributor. So if you want that, maybe check out their AliExpress store. But hey, you've at least got the option to do so, right? It's a light and compact IEM considering that there's 5 drivers in here. The cable included is also alright. It's a thicker, silverish braided affair. The looks are decent, but I think the wires are a little too stiff for my preference. You do get modular plugs that you can switch between 3.5 and 4.4 millimeters, and both the jacks include their own jack condoms. Always need that protection, you know. The box itself of the EPZ P50 is also quite nice. No picture of the IEM in the front, but just some minimal text to tell you what it is, advertising the Tribrid setup. Slide out the sleeve to reveal the inner box, which opens up like a jewelry case. Ooh, fancy. Inside contains the P50s in the thick foam inserts with a bespoke carrying case sitting beside it. This is a cylindrical case with stitched pleather. The inside is actually lined with fabric too, but it makes this kind of frictiony toot noise, so I'll play it for you. Now I love how nice this case looks, and hey, it makes noises too, so you could consider that an extra feature, right? Below the foam insert, actually you get the accessories box, which includes 2 identical free packs of Akustune AET07 clone ear tips. I don't know why they gave you 2 of the same ear tip types, but hey, that's twice the normal amount, so all is good. And finally, you get a cleaning cloth included too. A nice inclusion, making the unboxing feel a bit more premium. The EPZ P50 is a compelling Tribrid IEM, sporting a neutral bright tuning that closely aligns with the Crinear IEF neutral recipe. Heck, it aligns so closely that it is likely to be the basis for the Crinear Daybreak, sporting the same driver setup and similar tuning tendencies. With the P50, you're getting just enough bass to get the engine humming, clean and neutral mid-range, as well as an extended treble response, really giving the microplanar drivers a good leg day and a good workout. If you've experienced and you like the IEF tuning style, then I think the P50 is quite worth considering. Thank you to EPZ for providing a sample unit for review. However, they do not have any creative or editorial control over my review, and all that I've shared are my honest thoughts.